And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something very special here. Not just a day of Master Coliseum 7 Round 2. I mean, that's fine. That's a great backdrop. But for the first time in years, Pappy, in years, I'm casting once again with the one, the only, the Rufio.
Rufus. He's going to do his best to cast. If he falls asleep halfway through, there's not really much we can do about that. He's just doing his best. He's just a little guy.
He's beautiful, Bobby. He's beautiful. And Asher, it's great to see you once again, Asher. It's been far too long. Far too long.
I saw Masters Coliseum had some nice short days, some high quality games, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, only four matches, only 4 best of 3s. You know, it's like 2 hour, maybe 3 hour cast. To be fair, that's also because there's been a lot of like 2-0s. Like there haven't really been, this hasn't really been much back and forth here. And again, it's only best of 3s, so like really short series.
There were some long games. I think I was watching, was it Dark vs. Cure a couple days ago?
Yeah.
Yes, Dark vs. Cure.
Yeah.
They had a pretty massive game. They were really going back and forth.
Oh yeah. that was a beautiful series. We've had a lot of great matches here, and we're gonna have some more here tonight as well as we get ready to delve into quite some high quality gameplay here. We have Clem versus Shin, Firefly versus Rainer, Oliveira versus Bunny, and Max Pax versus Hero.
Yeah, great to have the TvZ first up because it's kind of been a question that's on everyone's lips at the moment, whether Clem is the best Terran in the world at the moment, whether he can keep up the kind of form that he's been in, especially against Zerg. And I think Ragnarok's going to be a pretty interesting test.
100%. I mean, Clem, he has been looking damn good. I think I want to say that Clem has like the best TvZ in the world. He's already tested himself earlier in this tournament. I don't know if you saw, but a couple of days ago, Clem, wait, am I mixing him up with something? No, I am mixing. Never mind.
Just finish the thought. Who cares? Just go with it.
Oh my god.
I'll agree.
He's been looking damn good, is what I meant to say. I mean, he's been bringing down players like Dark, you know, on a regular in these online weekly tournaments. He's been bringing down players like Rainer, players like Cyril. Clem, he's a beast in this match. He's a beast.
Yeah, definitely. He's kind of the pace setter at the moment in TvZ. He's showing that you don't really need to do anything weird with the Cyclones. There was a lot of people playing around with trying to mix Cyclones into the existing low ground racks builds, and Clem's kind of just gone back to 3cc builds. He's playing a lot of Liberator builds as well, and he's multitasking with the Liberator. I don't think anyone can keep up, really.
Yeah, it's so difficult to keep up. Doesn't matter who you are. Clem puts the pressure on and does not stop. So this is going to be an interesting one. As you mentioned, Shin is more aggressive in the early game, in the early to mid game. But a couple of days ago, Shin, he went up against Bjorn in this very tournament. And they had a best of 3. They went all the way to the late game every single game. And Shin was able to actually flex his late game against Bjorn. I mean, I guess that's not Bjorn's like forte. It's not what he's known for, his late game TvZ. But Shin was able to look actually good against Bjorn.
Yeah, I mean, Beyond's TvZ late games, it's really not that bad. I mean, we had a good year or so when we were on the Data C map pool where it seemed like he and Dark were getting into 40-minute games pretty much every week. And Beyond got some good practice in that time with his late game, but we are jumping straight on into it in the bottom right-hand corner here for Team Liquid with a little bit of a mustache comb, a little bit of a grub on his upper lip. It is Clem.
Let's go. He's growing up, Bob. He's growing up. He's not 16 anymore. He's like is he 20?
I don't know. I think he might be older than that, actually.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've noticed
quite a few years have passed. Yeah.
Clem, he's been growing a bit of a mustache. I don't know if you've seen Cyril recently. Cyril has been growing a bit of a beard, like under his chin. Like I've noticed some like sprinkles of like facial hair there. It's like, oh my god, it's crazy.
Is everyone getting in on the dark bet?
Yeah.
We're just going to have all these gamers with their like patchy facial hair until one of them wins. And then he's going to stand up and instead of accepting the trophy, he's just going to shave and everyone's going to clap.
Let's go. Oh my god.
Like, he's the chosen one.
Oh my god. Feels Geralt, man. Feels... But he was the chosen one. He was meant to be the one to lead the charge when it came to pro gamers with facial hair. And what happened? We don't know.
Geralt was the other way around. He was like Samson cutting his hair. He lost his power.
Oh no. Feels bad, man. But it looks like there's a bit of a technical issue here, so we're just going to be resolving that. Then we're going to be diving right into game number 1. And yeah, I'm still really excited to see how this does play out. When it came to SHIN versus Byun, a lot of those games actually went. Oh, never mind. We're going right back into it. And in the top left-hand corner, we have SHIN for Mystery Gaming. Let's go.
A little bit disappointed. You're saying SHIN so naturally now. I'm still having to like double take and not say Ragnarok every time. I haven't casted him enough.
I think it was like a couple of days ago, like maybe a week ago, I did accidentally say Ragnarok. Like it did happen. Like it still happens every now and then. And I don't even think about it. It just comes out. It just flourishes from my mouth. I don't know how. Don't know why.
Does he feel different now? Is there anything about him? Like, do you have a different vibe about him now with the name change?
Yeah, I do. It does feel like he's a little bit less creative and a little bit less crazy. Feels like he's he's reformed a little bit.
It might be one of those things where I feel like that might have been the case already, but until the name change, we don't really believe it.
True.
Because he has been a top Zerg for a while now.
He has been. And it's great to see him here once again. As we're getting into our openers, some pretty interesting openers at that. We've spoken about this before, but Clem is going for the low ground 2x Reaper, as he does like to sprinkle in. He's not like Byun, he doesn't rely on it, but every now and then he does kind of whip it out. SHIN, meanwhile, he went for a 15-15.
Yeah, so delaying that gas by quite a bit. And Clem, it's pretty interesting to see him using this 2x quite a bit. I know he does do this in other matchups as well sometimes. He's been playing around with it in TVP occasionally. But I'm always a little bit surprised to see him not use the 3-racks as much as, say, Byun does. Because I feel like they are players with very similar skill sets.
100%. I mean, he has such immaculate control, and give this man an abundance of Reapers and he can make some magic happen. But yeah, for now, it's just going to be 2-racks Reaper. He does rock up with his Reaper himself. Queen should be on the horizon. Lings do move out. We have the second Reaper on the way. Does miss the Lings, and so far, no drones have gone down. Clutch micro out of SHIN, keeping his drones alive.
Yeah, a little bit interesting sending the Lings across the map. Not quite sure what that's meant to achieve, as they're not going to be able to get through that wall, but I suppose he can just keep coming back and check and see if there's add-ons, see if there's going to be more Reapers instead.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty risky. Like, I feel like you're going to need those Lings back at home. Like, in general, 15-15 defenses here are really clutch just because you're relying on Queens, and less so on Lings here. Ling speed is also going to be delayed, so it's going to be that much more longer before you can shut down these Reapers. Oh, as Clem overextends.
Yeah, one Reaper goes down, but Reaper for a Queen will take that trade any day. Pretty good grenades coming out, but it looks like he might be losing a second Reaper here.
Oh my god, it's so close. He hugs, yet he does escape barely with that second Reaper, and he only invested in 2, and he escapes again.
Yeah, some nice micro here, and he is going to be going into a 3cc variation. Very Clem-like. He does really like to go for these economic builds. Tends to be, aggressive enough that even with fewer units, he can still make a lot happen, and he's more of a momentum player necessarily than the kind of player that likes to go for all-ins.
100%. And speaking of momentum, he's going to be getting that with these 2 Cyclones as well. We spoke about it earlier. Cura's been mixing this in as well. I think they share notes. I think they've said themselves that they have practiced together in the WTL interviews, where Clem invests into 2 Cyclones. It should only be 2 Cyclones, and then Hellions behind this.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that Cura's on Liquid now.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting as well, because Clem's always said Cure is his favorite player, and I've always noticed that Clem takes a lot of Cure's builds, so he must be pretty stoked to have direct contact with the man himself as well.
100%. It was so fascinating to hear their interview, because I feel like in current era, like, teams, they feel like labels. Like, sure, like, players are on teams, but do they really practice a lot together? Do they do a lot of customs together? It was really fun to hear confirmation that Clem and Cure, they do customs, as well as the other team, Liquid Boys, as well. And it feels like that does show in their TVT. Like, Clem and Cure have very similar TVT nowadays, which is really cool to see. Okay.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I know a lot of the time in the past, especially when a Korean player would join a team of mostly Westerners, you usually wouldn't see them playing customs together or anything like that. The Koreans would just kind of play with the other Koreans.
Yeah.
But I do know that Liquid, they often have boot camps as well, so I know Clem and Skillers, for example, play quite a lot together.
Oh yeah, yeah. Clem, Skillers, back in the day, Kellozer would join in on them as well in that boot camp. But here we go, the Lings, they do end up collapsing on this army here. A little bit risky to move out ahead of time. The Hellions, they come in to reinforce, but the Cyclones and the rest of the army does get cleaned up.
Yeah, nice cleanup there. SHIN being very patient, coming around from behind once the commitment was made onto the Queens, and gets a good cleanup on the Cyclones, and that's going to take a lot of the momentum out from Clem. So already we're seeing SHIN droning up quite aggressively now.
Yeah, he's going to be able to drone up. We have the Bayless on the way lair as well. SHIN just getting comfortably on these 3 bases, and that kind of power spike that those Cyclones would have given isn't quite there anymore. There was a lot of potential with that push to maybe pick off some Queens, but SHIN does make it out of there.
Yeah, that's right. So Clem's still a little ways off getting that double drop out on the map. And in typical Clem style, we're going to be expecting to see him go into mines. Probably just going to use that drop to start clearing up creep, getting a bit of map control. And he'll just be looking to, bit by bit, chip away at the defenses of Ragnarok. We have noticed as well lately, Clem's not afraid to go to a late game either.
Oh yeah, exactly. Clem is terrifying in that late game if we get there, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing that, especially in some of these other maps. Side Delta has a lot of bases, is very wide open, very large, so that can lead into that as well. We'll see as the drop is upon us. Medivac is going to be meeting up here with the rest of the Marine Army, very Beyond-esque, moving out ahead of time, applying a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be coming in through here, trying to see what's going on for Ragnarok. Got the Hellbats here as well, so going to be forcing a lot of Banelings to be morphed. And yeah, very aggressively jumping on top of these Queens. There's no energy for the Transfuse, so they're all going to be going down. And great snipes on the Banelings as well.
Yeah, 3 Queens go down and 4 Queens. Almost every single Queen, the Baneling's going to try to collapse on this army, but the positioning from Clem is just too good.
Yeah, Ragnarok's actually in some serious trouble here. I was not expecting this to get so much done, but the Hellbat's getting a lot of drone damage, cleaning up so many of those Lings as well, and it's going to be very hard for Ragnarok to, SHIN, to start repositioning those Banes into the main as well.
It's, well, we'll get there. It's fine. Don't worry, Bobby. Don't worry. But yeah, 10 workers go down. This could be game-ending damage. This is just far too much at this point. He could even go for the main base.
Yeah, that main base is almost down. The Baneling gets soaked up by 1 Marine at the front. Every single lane going to be taken out. He takes the Queens instead, and Bane speed is still not finished. Just like that, GG is called.
GG, well played. A very potent push there from Clem, catching SHIN completely off guard there. Likewise, I did notice the earlier armory from Clem, and I was curious. I was like, oh, I guess he's gonna incorporate some Hellbats with his army, maybe with his full of tank push or something. But no, with the first double drop with the 2-on-1 timing with Stim, with Hellbats from those Hellions from earlier, really did catch SHIN off guard.
Yeah, those Hellbats did so much, and the way that Clem is positioning those Marines just got everything out of them. I mean, it's a very Clem-esque sight to see orange and red health Marines, but none of them dying somehow.
Yeah, using the SimCity, the terrain against SHIN as well, just stutter stepping behind that middle line, just really good movement out of Clem, and again, SHIN just was woefully underprepared for that push, caught completely off guard, despite a pretty solid start. I mean, he lost a Queen at the start of the game, but outside of that, things were kind of settling in towards the mid game. Things weren't looking too bad for SHIN, especially after shutting down those Cyclones, but was maybe a little bit too complacent, maybe just resting on his laurels a little bit after that kind of opener.
Yeah, definitely. It was a little odd to see just how delayed everything was. I mean, I don't think Bane speed was even finished by the end of the game there. So yeah, Clem definitely setting the pace here and could have a bit of a quick night.
Oh, yeah. Here we go in the bottom left-hand corner. We have Clem for Team Liquid.
Running the top right for Mystery Gaming, this is SHIN.
Ooh, and once again, this is something that I've noticed both from SHIN and also Reynor recently. Both SHIN and Reynor, they are the 2 players that have adopted and embraced the 15-15 a lot. Not just in this matchup, but in almost every matchup. Yeah,
I haven't really seen SHIN not go for the 15 hatch in TvZ in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It was a little curious to actually see him making those 2 Lings at the start last game.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the biggest advantages of this is that you don't need to make those Lings, and to be fair, those Lings didn't really do anything either.
Yeah. It was an odd choice from SHIN, and we'll see if he is able to refine himself here in Game 2, because once again, we have mirrored openers. We have the 2x Reaper from Clem and the 15-15 from SHIN.
Yeah, looks like Clem's pretty happy to go for this again, and I mean, why not? It was quite successful that first game. I wouldn't mind seeing him maybe mix it up with a Liberator build or something like that. I don't think the Cyclones got too much done last time. But yeah, there's plenty of options that you do have off of this, and it's one of the reasons it's so popular.
100%, especially with the rush distance being longer here on Alcyone. I don't think the Cyclone Hellion pressure is going to be as successful either, so we'll see if Clem does mix it up, and I'm sure he has other variations as a follow-up to a 2-Rack Reaper.
Yeah, come to think of it, I think most of the games that I've seen on this map so far have actually been proxy racks games.
That's fair enough. Yeah, there's some pretty nasty locations on this map. Recently, Bjorn's been trying to go proxy factory on this map as well, which was interesting. I think it was day 1 of Master Coliseum he whipped that out. It didn't work.
Okay.
But it was fun to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Kyo went for the proxy racks versus Dark. And then I know Mario kind of reactively did it versus Dark. He saw that Dark was taking the gold.
Yes.
And he threw down the extra racks, threw down the bunker behind the gold. That was a really cool response.
Oh, yeah. It's been happening a lot recently because Dark especially has been very fond of taking the gold base here against Terran and Protoss. And if you watch like Dark versus Classic and Hero, like Classic and Hero immediately they scout the gold like straight away. And I think both of them, they actually if they ever do see a proxy there, they go for a reactive cannon rush and they do the same thing, like they just shut it down.
Okay, that's really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I have I don't know if you noticed, but Maru yesterday, he looked different. I haven't seen this Maru in a while.
100%. Yeah, I think I said something similar where I was like, I haven't seen Maru this strong in months. Like it's crazy how good it's been looking. Like when he 2-0'd Serral, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like in the games where he was playing against Dark, and the way that he was microing, I'm like, wait a minute. He's like trying to win this game. He's not just playing. He's trying to win.
Yeah, like in recent times, even like the most recent GSL, for example, like you have Maru, and he's not like playing badly, but like, I don't know, he's just like very all in, very aggressive, and
yeah. It feels like he's just putting in like the minimum amount of effort he needs to win, which, you know, to say that about like pro games is kind of insane, but he is just that good.
Yeah.
But yesterday in his Dark, he looks like he was, really another level.
Yeah. In general, here in Master Coliseum, it feels like he's just like, I don't know if it's like motivation or like, you know, I don't know what it is, but like he's really in form, which is really exciting for IEM Katowice. You know, it's right around the corner, and a lot of players are peaking right now.
Yeah, 100%. But anyway, having a look at the game now, we've had one Queen, one Creep Tumor going down as well. Clem getting pretty ridiculous amount of damage with these 3 Reapers. Very tidy control.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's only 3 Reapers, and he wasn't able to delay the 3rd base, but in favor of not canceling the 3rd base, SHIN, he had to expose his queens, and already 1 queen goes down. We can deal even more damage here. This 3rd should be safe. Link speed is now finishing up, but that was some pretty good damage done by Clem. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. And considering it looks like he's going for... Well, looks like those Reapers will be going down. I was going to say, considering that he looks like he's going for pretty much the same build, that 3rd base being on half health is not completely insignificant. I mean, if we have another drop running in that same way, I could see that going down.
It's dangerously low right now, and as you mentioned, same build out of Clem. He still went for the Hellion and Cyclone once again. This time, we do have better positioning here, especially in the center of the map, but Clem, he's going to be setting it. No, okay, there we go. He's just going to be waiting for reinforcements, waiting for those additional Hellions before he pushes out. And again, with this, he can pick off Overlords, he can pick off Queens.
Yeah, looks like he is going to be, as you're saying, a little bit more careful this time. Doesn't want to get surrounded by those Lings. I mean, on this map as well as a few less escape paths. But yeah, Armory, as you're pointing out, looks like it's going to be an identical build. Nice scouting coming out from SHIN with that Ling. He'll be able to put together at least that it's a 2-on-1.
Yeah, he's aware of some of what's going on. He does see the 3rd TC on location as well, but he doesn't get eyes on the Armory, but he should be getting an inkling of this. Balioness is still on the way. He's amassing Queens, he's amassing Lings. Is it going to be enough, though? Because Clem is pushing. This time he'll have Hellbats and those Cyclones.
Yeah, this is I don't know if I'm just misremembering this last game, but this feels like it's hitting a lot earlier. I think he's done a slightly different variation here. Maybe cut a couple Hellions. And Ragnarok is really not prepared. His Bait Nest is not even finished yet.
Yeah, exactly. As you mentioned, this is an early push, an earlier time with only a handful of Hellbats, but he catches 2 Queens already.
Oh, and he does have this waterfall back onto, but the Queen's going down. 3 of them going down. That hatch, we were talking about it earlier, it is in some real trouble right now.
SHIN, he's in a lot of trouble in general here. The Queens are falling left, right. Baileys, they do finish up just in time. They will zone away the Marines, but we can just pick up and go into the main.
Yeah, same move coming out from Clem here behind this, smoothly macroing on up as he does. And it looks like Ragnarok this time, SHIN does have what he needs to hold this, but Clem's just going to continue to be annoying, continue to try to pull himself ahead.
There's 2 queens left. He wants them, Bobby. He wants the queens. Clutch Transfuse is going to be able to keep them alive, but one more queen goes down. The Marines are being cleaned up. Finally, SHIN has control of this drop, but so much damage was dealt, and sure, he may have survived this, he may have forced this back, but I mean, Clem, he's got a third TC up and running behind this. Like, he has a good economy.
Yeah, very cute stuff out of Clem, actually using those queens to block out the lings as they were coming on in. But in the end, it does eventually get cleaned up. Those Marines, of course, without combat shields there, not able to take as many hits. But yeah, behind this, Clem is just happily macroing on up. These kind of annoying moves where he's dropping between these minerals, dropping between those minerals. He just has time to do these kind of things.
Yeah, he even has another drop full of Marines coming out to reinforce, and another on the way from across the map as well. Another triple drop even, so Clem leaving nothing back at home, just applying mass aggression here in SHIN. He's stuck defending. He doesn't have the time to go for a counterattack.
Yeah, Clem sees everything that's going on now. We have the mines here as well, so if Clem can make this chaotic, the possibility of SHIN taking a massive mine shot and just losing the game on the spot just continues to go up and up.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. The Widowman's going to be burrowing. The Baneling's going to be wobbling in as well. Can we get a connection on these Banelings? So far, not the best connections. SHIN, he will force his back.
Does get pushed back. Pretty good trade so far. SHIN is holding on, but this is an incredible amount of pressure that Clem is putting on.
It really is. SHIN behind this, rushing into a fast Hydra den. Hydras are on the way. I mean, I understand the logic here. It's a good way to shut down drop play with some anti-air, but it's also quite expensive. We'll see if SHIN can get there. Meanwhile, SHIN has been able to drone up. He's got a 4th base, 72 workers, soon to be 80 workers here with more drones on the way. Like, he is recovering economically.
Yeah, despite how it looks with all the pressure, SHIN, he's holding on. Only just, but he is holding on.
He's holding, Bobby, he's holding, but Clem reinforcing once again, getting ready for a split push. He's got a double jump on the left-hand side. He's got a main army through the center as well. I'm curious how many queens there are, because we lost a lot earlier, but I guess we have some Hydras to help keep up.
Yeah, the Observer just pointing out there, Clem's forgotten his 2-2. A +2 attack finally on the way here, but that is pretty heavily delayed, and it means he's going to be quite far behind the 2-2 of SHIN.
He's too aggressive for his own good, Bobby. He's having a hard time keeping up with himself, but he'll eventually get into 2-2. Widowman's going to be cleaned up, and SHIN, he's slowing the game down a little bit. He's forcing him back. Gold base is on the way as well. We'll see if SHIN can hold on to it.
Yeah, it feels like these drops for Clem, they're getting less and less each time. SHIN's doing a good job holding on. He's doing a good job with the micro against the mines as well. Haven't really seen him take any devastating hits just yet, but Clem is always just poking and probing for an opening here.
Mine shots going to be going off once again. Some decent connections on the Ling Bane, but with detection we should be able to clean most of this up. The creep is looking decent, connecting all these bases, and here we go. SHIN taking up even further. I do really like this choice here. Lunker Den, Puppy. Lurkers are on the way. That is a good way to slow this down, but we are already incorporating a couple of Liberators.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a battle of momentum here. If SHIN can slow this game down enough to get the lurkers out, that could be huge. But, oh, massive mine shots coming out. And there are only 3 active Banes left with this army. SHIN is in huge trouble here, and he needs to get everything over here to deal with this army.
He does, as I mean, again, he's once again another mine shot is going to be going off. Up until this point, up until this fight, we've been avoiding the mines. You know, we've been having a great time dealing with those Widow mines, but up until now, massive connections here from Clem. Settling out of control, does take a bailing to the face finally, but Clem has been trading so well. The Widow mines all survived. They're all resetting, and look at the supply.
Yeah, that is a massive problem here. Clem behind this going to that Ghost Academy will be able to start to rally those libs in, and Ragnarok SHIN here is going to start to make those lurkers, but it's a bit of a desperation move at this point. Probably just noticing that Clem doesn't really have that many Marauders, but it's not going to be too hard for Clem to start mixing in Marauders and libs, and he should still have this one in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of Lunkers, they have arrived, but there's only 3 Lurkers, soon to be 4 Lurkers, and we can just avoid them. We just avoid them at this point. We just rotate around, head towards the natural base, and SHIN just unable to be in position in time, and they're so exposed.
Yeah, one of those is going to be going down. We do have the Banes getting some slight connections here, but Clem at this point, he really does not care. He knows this game is pretty much his for the taking. Looks like it's going to be a very quick 2-0 for Clem here, and his TvZ looking as good as ever.
Yeah, I mean, SHIN was impressive. He was able to keep up. He was able to almost stabilize, getting up to 80 workers. And then the winner mines, Poppy. We had some insane connections, 3 back-to-back-to-back, massive connections on the Ling Bane, and SHIN just could not recover from there, was not able to stabilize. Now he's barely holding on, but Clem is not slowing down.
Yeah, SHIN at this point basically trying to keep Clem out of his natural, not exactly where you want to be at this stage of the game. You would hope to be having creep most of the way across the map, have the Terran push back, have those lurkers starting to set up attacks, but yeah, Clem is just all over him at this point. This base going to be going down, just ignoring the lurker that's defending it.
It just can't do enough on its own, Poppy. GG gets called, and Clem will take the game and the series 2-0.
GG. TvZ. Looking a bit unwinnable, hey?
True. Unwinnable, Poppy. Unwinnable. I mean, a really strong performance here out of Clem. Looking damn good. As you mentioned, arguably the best TvZ in the world right now. I say arguably because, I mean, again, Maru has been looking good recently as well. Mate, right now, it's the era of the Terran, all right? The Terrans are rising up all over the place. Clem, Maru, Cure, they're all looking hot right now. And I mean, even in this tournament leading into IM Katowice, they're looking damn good. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Maru, he heard the whispers on the air that Clem is the best TvZ player in the world, and he took that personally, and he's started practicing. You know, it's been probably about 8 years for him since last time he practiced, but he thought, you know, get a little bit in there.
Yeah, he's actually, you know, putting in the hours, and it's looking to pay off. Regardless, GG, that's our first best of 3 in the bag. We have another up ahead of us, and Papi, I can't believe my eyes. Have you been seeing Firefly recently?